Hello my audience, today I'm going to review this book Freeing the Natural Voice by Kristin Linklater. And this is a book about voice and singing, voice acting or in general about voice performance. And he goes over to the physiology of the human voice and how it's produced. He lays out a couple of exercises, and I think, at least personally, that it's one of the books that will kind of seemingly not work, but then weird stuff starts to happen when you read this. And you don't have to really consciously understand what she's kind of telling you over here. It's kind of like a meta program for your body to understand that maybe you could use your voice a little bit different like this. And there's a lot of voice stuff related to what I do, and I have done a lot of videos where I demonstrate different voices and that kind of stuff. But she talks over here that the reason that voice exists is to communicate. I don't really agree with that. I feel that the voice can be used for more reasons than for communication, actually, that it exists for its own sake. And I believe that that's kind of there's the communication is only maybe a half of the truth why we are able to produce voice. There's more to it that. But of course it makes kind of sense that we are, this organism that tries to communicate with each other and this kind of stuff. But what I have, kind of started to realize is that the basic way that human beings communicate, it's very, very underdeveloped, that there's a lot of ground that could be explored over here. But it's a very rare territory to actually people to go into and start exploring, because they think that the human voice is only there to be used as this kind of an utilitarian thing, to kind of share just stuff as you see people do. But there's more to that. There's more to it than that. And if you master this stuff, I believe that when Tony Robbins said that you should become a master communicator, I think that this is one of those books that you should read to get to that level. But what I want to say is that when you go really into this stuff, it's very possible that you won't be able to use these skills with real people, at least at first. And you have to kind of work around that and figure out where can you use this. And this book is mainly about theater and performance in theater. So it's about character voice also. And I've done a lot of stuff related to that. And I would hope that some of you guys and girls started to get into this and develop this, because it's part of your character. And yeah, it's going to make you separate kind of from the masses if you do this practice. And this is one of those self-help things that it's a rarer thing that for example, all the weightlifters, weightlifting and this bodybuilding stuff and exercise and fitness, it's what everybody does. But I would feel that the logical kind of next step when you have done that fitness crap is to get into your voice and try to develop that. And she says that your voice is the main thing behind your artistry, or did I read that in another book? But there's a lot of stuff that you can develop in yourself, and this is one of those things. But if you get really good in this, it might be possible that you might be able to make a career out of this voice stuff also. I dig you know, experimenting with my voice, and it's a very, you know, kind of, it's this artistic process, kind of messy artistic process. I try all kinds of stuff. I've tried metal singing and normal singing stuff and rap and doing videos, you know, like semi-speaking, like semi-speaking, or like half speaking, this kind of stuff. I've done it all at this point, but there's still new things that you can discover. And she talks about the rhythm, and yeah, it's one of those things that it's very fun to do this. But yeah, I have wondered if people who sing or singers, do they ever sneeze in middle of concerts? You would probably need a lead guitarist to kind of, you know, pull the attention away from the performer when the singer sneezes. Yeah, that's part of it. And it's a very interesting book, but this is already pretty, you know, this is kind of like high level stuff. And if I would have read this, you know, like when I was at the start of my, you know, journey, like, would I recommend this book as you're like in the group of your first 50 books, for example, when you start reading? I would say no, absolutely not. This is very advanced, pretty specific stuff. And I feel that it was great that, you know, he says over here that it can be used in theater, but I feel that YouTube is like, nowadays it's kind of like a theater, you know, you could use it that way. But we have the advantage of cutting videos, and, you know, theater it has to be matched, and it has to work on the first try when you have actually rehearsed it. But what I'm going to say over here is that the later things that I have done with my voice, including the rhythms, is that I have noticed that if I cut those videos, the rhythm is what breaks the flow. So I'm really trying to develop this kind of, you know, way of filming videos where I can do speeches and I can do the singing stuff. I can do it in one, you know, block. That it's kind of, you know, works. I'm kind of like thinking about over here the same thing I thought about in the past, in the deliberate practice thing, that how will you kind of develop that? How will you develop your performance so that you can pull something like that out and it's just one take? You know, it's hard, but that's what I'm trying to do right now. Thanks for watching this video. Interesting book. It's not a book about singing, you know. It's not learn to sing book, but if you sing, yeah, this book will help you. And the main idea behind this book was that each human being is capable of representing and expressing all the range of human experience or emotion or anything like that with their voice, that they are all capable of this, human beings, but it's just that you haven't kind of freed this voice. And that's what I really feel about the human voice, is that the human voice is something that other people, when you use it, you know, they try to control your voice, the other people, but at the same time, if you go somewhere and you really kind of, you know, use your voice very freely, you do this voice adventure that I did, you know, in the winter time when I walked in the middle of nowhere, and sang in all kinds of styles and did all kinds of funny stuff with my voice. You can scroll back and see those videos. And it's something that you could probably not even do if somebody was teaching you. This is a pretty private thing, kind of like a secret agent type of stuff that you have to do on your own, and you have to be pretty daring to actually do this. And maybe it cannot be even done in cities or that kind of. You might have to leave the society behind for a while to kind of find your voice and the extremes of it. And maybe I'm going to say that the things that I have learned about my voice have made it so that I wouldn't want to live in any apartment building, for example. I would, get kicked out very fast. I wouldn't be able to do the stuff that I do. So it's one of the reasons why I want to become, hugely rich. It would be really fucking swell to live in some mansion, that you could use your voice like crazy, there, and it would be fucking, awesome. I have this plan of, owning like a huge mansion or, this type of like a castle, I don't know, and just, walking around that, place and, just singing and inventing stories and all kinds of shit like that, and, with the YouTube, and have all fucking cameras and all the lights, and maybe do some, collaboration with other people there, and, make this kind of like insane experience type of thing. That's going to happen, for example, in like 5 years maybe, when I become a millionaire. That's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. But for reals, this is an awesome book and I highly recommend it. But with a grain of salt that this is very advanced stuff. And alone you won't probably be. This is like something that comes to play only like very, very, very far into your personal development journey. But if you are in the theater right now, then you could probably read it like instantly, and it could probably help you somewhat. I don't know. But the human voice is so that I would feel that it only comes into this point where you can develop it like this, that when you are maybe something like 24, 25, maybe 26 years old, when you're male. And after that, it starts to kind of crystallize. But before that point, there's so much stuff that happens in your body. And I have done a lot of physical training that has brought my voice that I'm able to use. I understand my body a whole lot different than you do probably, because I have done so much physical exercise. I understand all my muscles, and I understand all the tension. I understand all this crap. So you combine that with all the practice I have done, like talking and singing, and well, the singing stuff is the newest, but I have been doing this YouTube thing for like 5 years. So it's a long time. It's a long time to be using your voice, and it changes. And what I feel is that you shouldn't probably be listening to your voice through headphones or through any electronic device. You should avoid that. And why is this? Or you should kind of do it in very, how would I say it? You should do it so that you don't think that this is how you sound, because it's not how you actually sound. As she said over here, that you hear yourself very differently from others, that you hear yourself much louder from others. And some people, they have very weak voices, like they can't, talk very, their way of kind of, they are not very eloquent, and the words are kind of muffled into each other, and they have hard time forming the words. I don't know what it is about, but I feel that there's a lot of individual differences between how human beings make sound, even though all the organs are the same. but there's huge amounts of individual differences how people sound and why they sound like that. That's what I feel, you know. And this is kind of the territory where you have to take what you have and you have to make it work. And that's one of those things I learned from a metal singer, kind of this attitude that we are going to take what we have and we are going to make it work. We don't have any other, you know, chance. We just have to make this work. And that's the idea that you should have when you are doing this voice type of development stuff. And you should completely like forget the idea that some people have great voices and some people don't. That's not really true. It's just that you haven't used your voice and you haven't trained your voice in this way. Just the same as you haven't lifted weights in this way, so you don't have any muscle in this part of your body. It's just the same with the voice. You have to do all kinds of funny exercises, and in your own situation, you have to invent those exercises yourself. That's what I did. And funny things came about. From that. You can go and you can listen what I have done with the voice in the last years. Thanks for watching.